Hi everyone, it's Orkan. Today we are given a problem when we have end-to-end 2D matrix representing an image and we need to rotate the image by 90 degrees clockwise. Another important requirement is that we have to rotate the image in place, meaning that no additional space should be used. Let's take the first example and work on it. First thing that we may notice about this example is that after rotating our matrix, our rows becomes our columns. So for example, in this case, 1, 2, 3 becomes a column in the second matrix after rotating, and the same way 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they become columns. So that's going to be our first step. Our first step is we are swapping rows and the columns in our matrix. So what we do here, we are taking the 0 and the 0, we are swapping it with the 0, 0 because that's the corresponding cell for the 0, 0. For the 0 and 1 is 1 and 0, so we are swapping 4 and 2. For the 0 and 2, we are swapping with the 2 and 0, so we are swapping 7 and the 3. The next one is we are swapping 2, 1 with the 1, 2, so we are swapping 8 with 6. And the last one is the 2 and 2, and for the 2 and 2 corresponding value is also 2 and 2, so we are not swapping and 9. So after swapping, as we can see, our rows become our columns. So for example, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they become now columns. So that's our first step. What's our next step? Our next step here is that, as we can see, 7 is not in the right position. 7 should be in the 0, 0, and the 1 should be in the 0 and the 2. So what it means? It means that we need to reverse them. So that's going to be our second step. Our second step is after swapping our rows and columns, we need to reverse them because they should be on the opposite sides. So we are reversing each row. So we are reversing first row, we are reversing our second row, and we are reversing our last row. And after reversing our last row, then we have our matrix rotated. So we have, as we can see here, so we have rotated our matrix by doing two steps. The first step, what we did, we have swapped columns and rows, and after that we reversed each row. So what's the time complexity of this solution? The time complexity is, for each step, the time complexity is n squared because we are going over the matrix, and the overall time complexity is 2n squared, but we can disregard the constant part and it's n squared. And by requirement, we are not using any space, so our space complexity is constant. Okay, first thing that we do here, we are taking the size of the matrix n that we are going to use later. And then we are performing our first step, which is we are going over our matrix and swapping rows and the columns. For example, in this case, let's say that for 0 and 1, we are setting that to temp value. Then for the 1 and 0, for the 0 and 1, we are setting the value of 1 and 0, and for the 1 and 0 we are setting the value of temp, which is 0 and 1. Once we exit this for loop, we have already swapped all rows and the columns, and after that we go and reverse each row. So again, we are going for the each row, we are going until the mid of the row because we are swapping elements that is on the right with the elements that are on the left. So again, we are taking the value, let's say in this case 0 and 0, we are swapping with the 0 and 2, right? As in our example. So we are taking the value of 0 and 0. For the 0 and 0, we are setting the value of 0 and the 2. And for the 0 and the 2, we are setting the value of 0 and the 0. And once we exit this loop, we have our matrix rotated 90 degrees. Okay, that's it for today. Hope you like my content. If you like it, please hit the like button and subscribe my channel. See you next time. Bye.